Gus Downing, publisher and editor of D&D Daily, and this is the LP News Network. LP and AP teams support their company's success by enabling and protecting the total enterprise. The LPRC was founded by leading retail LP leaders in 2000 to enhance their impact on this mission by working together with researchers to reduce theft, fraud, and violence. Today we're joined by three key LPRC team members to discuss the Council's 2019 focus and key activities. Mike Giblin, Senior Research Scientist, LPRC, Jordan Burchell, Project Coordinator, LPRC, and Dr. Reed Hayes, Research Scientist, University of Florida, and Director of the LPRC. First off, Reed, can you help us by framing up LPRC's upcoming priorities?
Sure. I mean, and the priorities are set by the retailers themselves, as you mentioned at the beginning there. Going from the original 10 chains, vice presidents that set the LPRC up, we're now at about 70 chains and growing, of which 22 of those vice presidents are our board of advisors, and they've set the priorities. And so where we are is we're expanding a little beyond traditional theft, fraud, and violence research and development. We're strong there. Mike assures me we're working on about 80 projects currently now. I thought it was 60-ish. But we're going to go into the innovation space even bigger now. The retailers want that. They want to work together with their partners in the business, their head of operations, store ops, their merchants and their logistics people, IT. They want an independent place that they can come into together without being sold anything and ideate and simulate together. Mm-hmm. And so that will come true February 4th. We're going to open our ideation and simulation lab in Gainesville, in addition to our current innovation lab that we've got now.
That's a big announcement.
It's big. For us, it's big, that's for sure.
Yeah. Where do you see it going?
Well, it's about people and places, so we're adding capability as far as our team, both on the technological side as well as for real research scientists, and more ideation spaces. More retailers that we've got now provide us the ability to have a lot more actual stores to innovate in out there in the real world. But I see what's going to happen is you'll start seeing some of these big chains coming in with multidisciplinary visits just for them. They're working on what they want to work on. We're bringing together some of the people from the University of Florida as well as our team to support them when or where they might want it. And so we're probably going to be doing more than 80 projects, but I think you're going to see us pushing the space out there because, as you know, everything's blurred now. They always have been trying to sell more and lose less, but there's all these components tied in with safety and so on.
Mm-hmm. You know, I understand the LPRC is referred to as a research and results community. How big is the community and how does the group work together to meet those goals, their goals?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, our community is about 160 corporations strong now. And you know, that's a far cry from where we were even about 8 years ago when we were about 17 members. So the community, I think, it's obviously major retail chains. Now we've got the LPSA, we've got some of the QSR folks coming involved, and Amber and the team getting involved with us. So when you've got that strong lineup of retailers of all types, the leaders in each of the categories primarily, with I think we're about 75 solution partner members, technology companies, the Sensormatics and Checkpoints and Bosches and so on in the world. We've got the manufacturers, Procter & Gamble, Mead Johnson. So that's the community along with our science team. And so they can come together on specific issues they've got or come together to visualize where are we going and how does LP and AP support that total enterprise. Mm-hmm. We're not here just to be the corporate cops to secure or do things here and there and respond. We're going to work to support and enable this constantly morphing retail enterprise. So that's a long answer to your short question, but the community is 160 corporations all working on these problems together and with us maintaining the walls that they need of confidentiality. You know, a Rite Aid or Walgreens, CVS want us to have all the data, but they want only the aggregated data to come out to everybody, plus with their specific information for comparison and so on.
Right. You know, Jordan, I've heard you're leading the LPRC Innovate program. Can you give me a snapshot of LPRC innovation objectives and the process itself?
Absolutely. So yeah, Reed alluded to a little bit of what we're working on for 2019, but essentially this is a program that's designed to support our research efforts from a technological perspective, both to generate new ideas and enhance our capability to actually do the research we need to do, as well as solve problems that are already taking place in our research objectives. So with what we do with our retail partners and our technology partners, we're always running into areas where our behavioral research is overlapping with a technological challenge. We're asking an offender about a particular camera system or a tag, and there's actual technological issues to solve before that can actually happen correctly. And so we're bringing together a bunch of different constituencies through LPRC Innovate to make sure that process is supported and to drive innovation for years to come. So to that end, we've assembled a team that we're calling the Next Tech team, and this is basically an advisory board made up of the best and brightest from our solution partners to kind of advise us on a recurring quarterly basis about new ideas that we might not know about yet, technologies that are coming down the pipeline, so we're always staying ahead. So that's one constituency. The next is our partnerships with the University of Florida, so bringing together key faculty and talented students over on campus through things like a senior design course and smaller projects with students to get their perspective on the issues, so to help us develop the technology there.
College of Engineering, Innovation Academy.
Absolutely, yeah, multidisciplinary, which is a big theme that Reed alluded to for 2019, is bringing in other elements of the business, bringing in other elements of academia to bear so we can attack these issues from a multidisciplinary angle. And then finally, managing the places and spaces that Reed alluded to as well, our traditional innovation lab that we've operated for some time now, in addition to our new space that we're announcing for February, the Ideation and Simulation Lab. So those will all fall under the umbrella of LPRC Innovate, and they're really there to support a more robust and even more exciting research catalog for 2019.
You know, Mike, since you lead the LPRC's research team, how would you describe how the team works? What are some of your 2019 priorities, and what are some of your current projects?
Sure. So the team is currently 3 research scientists as well as Jordan. So myself, Stephanie Lynn, Stuart Strom, and Jordan. And we operate through kind of developing specializations over time. So over the years at LPRC, I've developed, for instance, through the Product Protection Working Group, a specialization in trying to get a deep understanding of how technologies are protected, the different variations that are out there, the ways that retailers want those technologies to be tested. And so each of the scientists takes on between 2 and 4 of those working group or innovation chains, and those become domains that we start to develop a good sense of deep knowledge in, and eventually hopefully an expertise level for. So each of us has kind of slightly different backgrounds when it comes to our education, our degrees, which gives us a good kind of diversity when it comes to thought that comes to our meetings. And then we kind of come at it with similar backgrounds in statistical analysis and those types of things. And so we have some skills that kind of spread across the entire team, and then other areas where we have kind of breadth and depth of knowledge based on the groups that we've been running and based on our backgrounds in the academic sense.
Absolutely. So the whole team here, what are some of the ways LPRC is bringing retailers, scientists, solution partners, and law enforcement together this year?
You know, and I can start off real quickly that we look at 3 strata, you know, the strategic fight. And if I'm a vice president of AP or LP or that senior leader, that number 1, you know, I'm there for the strategic fight. I'm there to support this enterprise and figure out where are my priority problems, what are some evidence-based cutting edge things I can do here to make this company go and grow. The deep fight, you know, that's where Dr. Strom, Stewart on our team, he's kind of specialized in that area. He's working with supply chain protection, innovation, and testing, evaluation. He's working with understanding, like if you pass certain laws like we know California is prone to do, where you can't have a plastic bag or whatever it might be. What are the real effects there? And how do we kind of moderate that and then maybe have evidence to get some of that changed? And then ORC and so on. And then you look at Mike and Stephanie, that's sort of the close fight. You know, what do we do now? We're not just communicating and trying to affect offenders and statutes in the battle space out there, but what can we do in close, in our parking lot, in our store, to make it much more conducive and easier for a shopper and hell for the bad guy.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, wish to expand on that?
Sure, yeah. So I want to chat a little bit about kind of what the research team is looking to do in 2019. So one of our big initiatives is to get retailers more involved in our process. So I think that there's some retailers that potentially only feel empowered to consume our research as a finished report, when the journey of creating that report is actually a really powerful tool to be a part of. So being on the working group calls and helping us formulate the questions that we're going to ask offenders, helping us decide exactly how we're going to conduct these tests, really empowers the retailer to get their voice heard throughout the process, as opposed to just reading the report at the end. And to that end, we started a new initiative at our last Impact Conference in October of 2018, where we asked people to sit down, form small groups, and spend 30 minutes coming up with research projects that they wanted the LPRC to take a look at. And so I think encouraging the retailers to really feel empowered to generate their own ideas, to come to us, to give us the projects that they want us to work on, essentially. So we work for them in a sense, right? We're generating the research that we think is going to answer their questions and satisfy their itches. And so we're trying to really make a point to make that well known in 2019.
You know, Gus, I had one thing, maybe Jordan can touch on this, and that is, all this research is going on. 80 projects now, we got 300 in the can. But how do we get all that knowledge, all those learnings out to that practitioner in the field and those corporate planning teams? So we call it S2P, or Science to Practice. Mm-hmm. Jordan, maybe you could touch a little bit on, that's probably our other exciting thing where we're going in 2019 is we got to push this out.
Yeah, so for 2019, how do we really focus on the communication part of what we do? Because when we're in our lab, when we're working on our research projects, it makes sense to us, but it doesn't do a whole lot of good if we don't get the results that we're uncovering to the people that can actually put them into place and make a difference. And so we're focusing a lot this year on our webinar series and enhancing our physical spaces, our lab spaces, and getting more retailers and solution partners to team up in those spaces so we can really communicate the core ideas that are foundational to our research and as well as the data. And then building on that, in these new spaces, I think we'll have an opportunity to look at how we can get the right data and get it more quickly to the different constituencies that have a stake in these problems. Be it law enforcement, the retailers, or the technology companies, how do we enable, through innovation and through our research, the flow of information? All always with the end user in mind, the customer who needs to be protected and the assets need to be protected. So I think we're building the kind of groundwork for that to take place, and it's something that I think all three of us in the team back in Gainesville are really excited to tackle in 2019.
George, he's being a little modest, but under the Science to Practice, we have a new app that'll be coming on board late this year, probably because we want to make it super cool, but everything will be coming pushed and pulled through that app, so that you can be in a store, you can be wherever, on an airplane or in your corporate office. Somebody asks you a question and you could pull something, or you can push something and get a response. So I think on the S2P, the 7 working groups are really going and growing. That's another way to get the Science to Practice pushed out there, I think. Our podcast is now bi-weekly, Crime Science, and we're getting more and more listeners. So that's it. People need actionable, easy to read, boom, go to work.
Exactly.
And a major milestone there in the S2P process will be when we publish essentially our plan for the year of what research reports we're going to be working on. So that'll be February 15th. We call that our research agenda. That'll come out, and it'll be a great opportunity for all of our members to get a very clear sense of what's going to be studied, what working groups it will be in, so what call series should they become a part of.
Any comments on Impact 2019?
We're excited. We've already started planning. Mike's and the team, we're all working on the content now, because we want people to know much sooner what's coming up.
Sure.
But man, we're pushing 400 plus now, so we got to be careful on space.
Yeah, you did.
But that's a good problem.
Yeah, you did.
As you know, you were there. This year was pretty neat because we went from sort of the 14 to 17 number ones, the VPs, to 32 this year. We anticipate more coming even next year, or this year, I guess, in this year.
Good. Excellent. Congratulations. Good job. Good job.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thanks for being here today, gentlemen.
We appreciate the opportunity.
Well, that's it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you for watching, and until next time, let's keep them all safe out there.